I went from 30K to 100K. The channel revenue AdSense has gone up. We've been hitting a stride of a 1 out of 10 every week. We were worried about not being able to be profitable, and then we hit a lot of good long forms in a row. Every upload the last 4 weeks has been pretty damn good. Oh man, it's nice to know that someone's handling it besides me.
All right, brother. Appreciate you for joining me today to share your experience working with Content Cash Media. Can you just go ahead and tell the people about your business, who you are, and what you do?
My name is Aiden, or better known as Gutsy Aiden, on YouTube, TikTok, any social media. I basically run a social media business and I run a desk mat company. That's basically what I do. And it's very simple.
Got you. So can you share a little bit about the before and after situation working with Content Cash Media, whether it comes to the views and subscriber growth and even on the revenue side of things?
The biggest thing with Content Cash Media was in the beginning, it was tough to try to figure out my style since you guys are mainly finance. You guys do a lot of finance entrepreneur type content, which I have strokes of that in my content, but it's not like the main focus. So it's hard for those ideas to go off the ground running like that. But the first month, 2 months kind of, was about the same. And then once we started getting our strides and rehiring people that already worked with me previously, that already knew the niche and all of that, skyrocketed the channel. I mean, the ideas on top of the people that were working hard in the niche already and understood it, plus your guys' like expertise and stuff, bringing that all together was the reason that it started taking off. I think we really started hitting our stride in November. We broke profitability on November, and then we doubled it in December, which is nice. But that was the first time that the YouTube channel has been profitable. A lot of it's usually either equal or less, and usually I fund that through the mousepad company. But yeah, so we were worried about not being able to be profitable, and then we hit a lot of good long forms in a row. I mean, we've been hitting a stride of a 1 out of 10 every week for the last, let's say 4 weeks almost. Every upload the last 4 weeks has been pretty damn good. So
yeah, it's been a crazy journey. I know we have like over 2.3 million long form views. Channel just hit 100K subscribers, so congratulations to you on that, bro. Because I know
man, that was crazy. It was it's been a ride. I mean, to be fair, I started this year at like 30K. I went from like 30K to 100K. I think the big portion of it was we gained when I started working with CCM. I think it was at like 50K, so I had gained 20 throughout the 6 months of the year, and then we gained the next half through working with you guys, like
crazy.
4 months. Yeah,
so 50K subs almost.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we were doing a lot of subscribers a month. Yeah, it was great. On top of Michael's expertise in shorts, and that kind of just stacked on top of the videos, so it was a bit of both, raising the tides.
So, talking about that side, even I wanted you to kind of talk about your process before working with us at CCM. What were the frustrations? Just share a little bit about what you were doing before and what challenges you had before working with us.
Management, man. Every single time I would go with some guy on Twitter, and it was just like a pain in the ass. And like, and then I have this guy where he's charging me out the ass to make the content, and it's just rushed. It's not like taken with detail. And that was the thing that I was worried with us when we first started working was like, we're pumping out stuff that necessarily isn't understood by the niche. And that's the hardest part is like when you work with management or people who hire editors, these editors are like Roblox editors and they don't know anything about your niche. So then they come in and it's hard to train them because they're doing what they need to do to get their bag and get out. For us, that was the biggest challenge is finding an editor. So then when I hired Michael, I mean, when you had came to us, Michael was actually primarily editing on the channel and he was just doing, one video a week. We would film all kinds of stuff like the world's fastest gaming setup or things like that. Just, out of the blue, hey, I need to film this video and just fuck it, we'll get it up. But now it's like you guys have brought in like other people in the team where it's, hey, we have a script for this. We can go by the script, but also add our expertise into it as we like flow. So it helps you guys develop good scripts, but then it also helps us stay kind of motivated to upload the next upload. So it's kind of like a push and pull with CCM. So,
yeah, I was going to ask, like with the management stuff, obviously I know we handle the entire process, basically damn near from the idea, scripting, thumbnails, entire little video editing, posting the video, even like from a management point of view, but also like everything else. How is the process different now? And like the way that we do things, obviously we have a systemized process for everything, our SOPs, our systems. How do you think that has improved?
Oh man, I definitely think the biggest thing is being on time with uploading and like taking that time to make sure the uploads, like even if it's outside of your guys' schedule, it's like, hey, it still gets scheduled for Saturday. Like that's something that I do respect a lot because it's a lot of people don't care. Like, oh, you just uploaded Sunday, or oh, we'll just upload it Monday, but it does matter. And people do look forward to seeing a video on that day, especially if you kind of advertise it and you've done that same day for a while. People really want to show up. It's like if you watch a show and that show doesn't go live that one day that you wanted to watch it and it's not there, then what? You're all upset. And so that's kind of the same way we've treated it with our videos. We have to upload Saturday, and worst case, if it doesn't, something goes wrong, we upload it Sunday, but we always try to hit Saturday at 9 a.m. no matter what. Because so that's been the biggest thing with you guys, has been on time and uploading stuff and taking that detailed time to make sure stuff's up before.
When it comes to like time, because you are an entrepreneur, which people don't know, like besides the tech side and the game setups, like you actually run a mousepad business. So I wanted to ask, when it comes to the time commitment things, working with CPM, I know you're like a legit like content creator. You do make a lot of content, but you're also a business owner. I know you're always running around. How do you think we help you with that? How things improve? Just talk about like, the time commitment stuff.
Oh man, it's nice to know that someone's handling it besides me. I mean, obviously I check in to make sure, because I think like if you keep it small, you keep it all. So like, you know, keeping the team small and organized is the best. So I definitely like when I'm able to check in with you guys and be like, hey, like, you know, where is this video at? Or hey, you know, when is this getting uploaded? That helps us, because then we know how to prep for the next video or get ahead that way. So just that alone has helped us a lot, because I'm running around doing a million things, man. Sometimes I forget. Sometimes I'm like, hey, I got to travel next week, or, you know, hey, we need to prep for the next weekend, or whatever the case may be. I mean, having you guys to be able to kind of be my other management, where it's kind of like, you know, me and Michael work together, you guys work together. It's kind of like all flow together, and it helps us keep accountability on our uploads, like, and making sure we don't miss stuff.
Definitely super important. I was going to say, with us like handling majority of the process, where do you think your time majority goes to? Because we try to handle everything, but I'm just curious, like, what are your thoughts on that and how we handle everything?
Yeah, I mean, you guys handle it great. I also do have my hands more in it than probably other partners that you work with, because this is a big side of my business regardless. And people you usually work with, that's like the content's like the last thing they do, you know? So
7 and 8 figure entrepreneurs.
They're that's the last thing they're thinking about, you know, and you're just helping them do that. But for me, I'm actually more involved than other partners. I feel I'm always, you know, writing scripts, or, you know, improving your guys' scripts, or recording things for you guys, or making sure that I watch a pre-edit, and I'm involved with you guys more often than other partners. But if, you know, if I were to leave for a week, I wouldn't be.
I think that helps with our results as well, though. When people like when you can tell you're actually into the content, like it plays a huge role in us. Like obviously we're solid at what we do, but when the founder or the creator is actually interested as well, it just takes it to a whole nother level. Which is why, once we brought in those previous people that are on your team, your knowledge, our expertise, we're able to gain 50K subs and 2.3 million long form views. Like it can happen because of those things. So I also appreciate you for your passion, bro.
Yeah. So, you know, obviously like your partners that you work with mainly don't have that luxury. They're running multi-million-dollar businesses, whatever. But the difference about me is that, you know, I try to keep my team small and I try to keep it organized. I want to be able to have a hand or some sort of quality control of my own content. Once you let it all go, you don't have as much connection to your audience. And that's more important than the sales. People kind of forget, like, when they run big businesses, who they're selling to and why they're impacting them. And that's why I always want to be involved in my content, why I always want to look over videos or be involved in like the revision process here and there, because that is more important to me, getting the right info versus just putting something up and it being wrong. It's more important to have the right stuff, especially in our niche, because looking smart in our niche is very important, and having the right recommendations is important as well.
Got you. And I'd add one more thing I wanted to touch on, just like the timing stuff, because I know we don't really have like a call cadence that we stick to, and that's something like people even talk about when they hop on calls with me, is like, hey, do we get one call per week or whatever? It's like I know we communicate a ton and we're always active on Slack, but like whenever we can like hop on a call and schedule things in, like how do you feel about that? Because I know sometimes people are very strict, like one call per week, but we just really hop on whenever we feel we need one, and we just spit.
I think we established we're going to do one call a month, because you know, it's more just looking over the analytics from the last month and then improving the ideas for the next month. One call per week for us would help us probably, but we don't need it. It's not like, for us, we already communicate via Slack, and Michael and I are the ones that really call more, because we're the ones that are in it, and like calling you doesn't necessarily help us on the editing side or things like that. I mean, obviously you can give pointers, but it's not from you. Like me and Michael are better calling together all the time, because it helps us, like, hey, we need to look at why this is artistic and why this isn't, and why this flows and why this doesn't, looking at your scripts and comparing what we can do to make it better. And you don't really need to be in those calls. I mean, that's you know, it's a waste of your time, you know, because you're just going to sit there and watch us do it. So so, you know, for us, like one call a month for us is easy, because we just look at the analytics, we look at the data, we look at the ideas that are working well and how can we improve them. And that's a better goal oriented thing than to waste a call every week to try to get you to be involved with our content when you got other partners you got to work with. Like, we understand that. So usually me and Michael are always in calls because we're working on shorts, we're improving them, we're looking at other people's styles, we're implementing them, we're changing them, we're taking what you guys give us, and we're trying to improve our long form. So it's usually always us in that aspect, but that's why, that's why we don't call that often.
Got you.
Usually I call if I have a crazy idea. I'm like, hey, look, dude, we got to get this on this, right? I'm like, hey, we got to get this like rolling like next week, but that's usually if something massive changes and it needs to happen right then I'll give you a call and like, hey, we really need to figure this out,
Great. And I was going to ask, what are your thoughts on like I know I do end of month updates, like general updates on the channel after every month, and just like our communication. That's something a lot of people talk about. What are your thoughts on it?
I think there are times where I could be checked in a little more, but I think it's also because like you got other people you're partnering, you're working on your own stuff too. But from my perspective, I would like more organized days. Like, hey, I want you to record Tuesday, Wednesday, because we're going to have a video for this week and next week already done. And then Michael can throw a video in between, because then that helps us like further our videos and plan them out to where we're 3 weeks ahead versus trying to get it up this weekend. And then we're stressed because an upload doesn't go well. Hey, the quality isn't great. Then we have that other video we've already scheduled that we're already ahead of. We can just move that back a week. And that gives us flexibility. So that's the only critique I have, is that if we could get ideas, like say 2 of them are already scripted by one end of the week, well, then that following Monday, I can film both of those ideas. And even if they go back to back, they're still good. But it's good because then Michael can slide a video in between or things like that. And it helps us in the long run. That's why I was kind of like, hey, like tell me what the next video is so I can record this week. That way you're set up for 2 weeks ahead. And it gives us a content runway where we have flexibility in our upload.
Yeah, I agree. So, definitely, like the main thing with us is like we do have a lot of clients. So getting ahead is like our main thing that we try to do, especially like on the scripting side. We can just get you to record and then handle the thumbnails and things of that nature from there. My next question I wanted to ask is like, just working with us, what do you think is like the area where you've gotten the most value? Just breaking down your overall experience working with CCM. I know it's a lot of things.
No, you're fine. Keep asking everything. The most value I think I've received is just overall the ideas, because for us, we were at a point before CCM where we kind of were just uploading the same thing and we didn't really know why views were dropping. And we kind of got to a point where we're like, well, okay, well, if we keep doing the same thing, they're not going to improve. So we need to find ideas that work, that are from other niches. And that's something that you guys do extremely well, is like finding ideas that are not just for our niche. And since you're tapped in with so many niches and you work with so many clients, there's so many other ideas that you can apply to our channel and value you can bring. That's not just, hey, make a video right now for us. Like we need a video out. Like it's not that. It's, hey, you bring in a good scripting team like Daniel, and you bring these people in that help us kind of flow our videos and make them have purpose. Because the biggest problem we have in our niche is that people make these videos without any emotion or any storytelling. Like if you go look at like some of the biggest guys, they'll make a setup for a subscriber and there's no emotion, there's no character, there's no anything. It's, oh, I built it like this, and then I surprised him and bang, it's done. Well, the problem with that is you don't have people who actually love your content because of that. They watch it for the tech, but then they're gone because they didn't build anything with them. So for us, it's like we want to be involved with the scripting. We want more like detailed stuff and more attention to detail. So then me and Michael kind of go back and add that alongside your scripting. So it's like, it's kind of one of those things that helps us out. So yeah.
Got you. Yeah, because I know definitely the ideation was a huge part. I even know like after our first 2 to 3 months, you're like, if we don't start going positive on this, I love working with you guys, but we're gonna have to stop. And I was like, bro, I was like, trust me, like we just have to like keep going with the ideas. And I was telling you, like I had some ideas I really had confidence in, and they went ahead and they performed. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into our ideation process and strategy that I'm not going to talk about on this call. But like, I think that was like a huge period for us where it was just like, okay, like
I'm a pivotal moment. I mean, it was. I mean, it definitely was. Yeah, it definitely was a pivotal moment. I think that you guys shined through on it. So
For sure. I definitely wasn't worried. I was just like, I had confidence in the ideas that we had coming up. Like I told you, it was just like a matter of time. And I definitely think the pivotal move you made as well, that's getting Michael back on there, Scythe, and being able to work with those great guys. I think that was also huge.
Scythe is he's worked on the channel for 2 years, every single thumbnail. Like he's so tapped in, and he's done stuff for other tech creators and me. And so he's super tapped into this niche that that glow effect, that lighting, no one else can really do it to the level he can, because he's just been so involved. since day one. Like he knows the plugins he has to use, the things in Photoshop that I don't even know how to do, he's doing, and he's improving, adding things that aren't there and making them look nice and making the glow look nice in the setup and changing wallpapers on A/B tests. And those things are all things that we've done and taught him over the years. I mean, it's great. And then Michael is just an unbelievably talented kid. I mean, that kid, he's your age and he is one of the best editors out, like he can really, I mean, obviously he can't do as much like AI stuff, like the, Adobe Illustrator and all the motion graphics and stuff. He's not as good at that, but his storytelling and emotion and aesthetic is something that is going to be nuts. Yeah, exactly. It's a very good flow to his videos for sure.
Got you. So I know we've done 2.3 million long form views, added like 50K subs. Channel just hit 100K. Plaque is coming soon. I was gonna ask, where do you kind of see not only the channel but the business as well in the next 6 to 12 months? And I'm sure here you can actually touch on how we helped you grow revenue wise as well before you even get into entering the 6 to 12 month kind of goal.
The channel revenue AdSense has gone up for sure. Mousepad sales are kind of the same because there's a lot of issues behind the scenes right now that I'm fixing. So like I can't go as hard in promotion for the stuff because I don't want to give out bad quality or things like that yet, which it's not that we're bad quality. It's that the service is bad quality right now that we're fixing things, just long shipping times and things like that. But we're fixing all of these things and they should be fixed by April. So like right now it's kind of just a coast. Hopefully we can focus more on AdSense and do that. But the business has grown in quarter 4. I mean, it did really well. I think we did about 4,000 orders in quarter 4, and that was still a low year from last year, right? We ran out of stock on Amazon. We had just a lot of problems in quarter 4 that we couldn't solve. But if we had all the inventory that we could control, we had all those things, we would have hit a 20,000 order month. Like, just because of Amazon and the promotion we could have done on YouTube and the views we're getting, there would have been such a really solid 2 months through Black Friday and that we could have really scaled. But the problem is we have a lot of problems and we're fixing those. So,
and I know we talked about the email list as well. I think you selling your products going to this year is going to be crazy for sure. On the YouTube side, I'm definitely not going to like share your public numbers. But I think we've definitely I don't know the actual multiplier on it, but I guess you can kind of talk about that, how before and after our revenue on the channel. I know when we came on, the channel was completely in the grave from revenue to views to everything. And now
So I was spending, Michael, I had to Michael's really cool about everything. And I had to pay Michael less because of on the long forms to break even. So we broke even for 1 or 2 months, but it was really messed up. Like I didn't want to have to pay him low, but I was also paying him higher for shorts because we were posting 30. So it was kind of like he was okay with doing it because he had the free time. But now, obviously you're paying him more, which is great. So looking back at that, I mean, in the first 2 months before CCM, we were making like $700, I think, on AdSense. And we were just about breaking even, and some months if it was a bigger video idea or something and it didn't perform, it was a really bad thing for us. And, so then our first month, I think we went to like 1,200 revenue. And then, we were still paying for you guys, which was double that. So we were worried that, hey, we're not gonna be able to make it. So then the next month, I think was 2,600. So it almost broke even to what you would pay. And then I remember November was like, holy shit, we're breaking even again. Are we going to make it more or are we going to make it less? And we went to like 3,000, I think, that month. And then December we went to 5,000. So we're definitely getting there where we're now going to be able to recoup for a couple months. We just keep it at that number and recoup. Then we can actually be positive on the channel now, finally. And that's my goal, is just to keep making good videos off of what we're doing now, because right now, I mean, every video has, crushed it. I mean, there's 1 or 2 that are kind of right? They're bad ideas, but that's what I'm saying is overall, we focused on a lot of videos that worked and that had really good validity and have longevity too. I don't know if you saw, but we were worried about the KO Manja video off rip. It's at 15K right now, but it was at 1,000 for 3 months. So I knew it because I've had that strategy in the past where I know it's going to do bad in the first couple of months and then search is going to find it. It's going to start going up. So those are things that we kind of want to make going in the future, like $800 PC builds and things like that are easy for us to hit in search too. Because that's another audience that we're missing out on. I mean, we have suggested now because we have browse and suggested, but there'll be a point where we do more search content, at least one search idea a month. That way we start building a catalog of search that brings in another audience for us on top of the browse and suggested.
Sounds $700 per month to 5K plus is insane, especially for like YouTube AdSense. Like, and size, that's like nuts.
Oh yeah, exactly. And I think it's because, you know, obviously our longer videos, the 3-hour video that we dropped, and people saying the Marvel movie of a setup reaction, you know, yeah. So that was already just content we already previously had, and we just used to leverage our content. And I saw this idea from the Stokes twins because I went to Vid Summit in September when we first had started working, and I called you and I was like, look, we got to start doing compilations. We got to start doing like where we take all of our videos and put them together. We're about to do another one this week, but I really suggest if anyone's watching this, if they have a YouTube channel, compilate your content and put it in hour forms, because dude, TV is no joke. The AdSense on TV is crazy. Nuts. I mean, dude,
you texted me and you were like, bro, this is crazy. You're dropping all this sauce on me. I was like, yeah, I heard someone that told me like they're pushing out longer format content because they want to compete with Netflix. And I was like, let's just do it. Let's try it.
Yeah, dude. I mean, our first video had a $10.50 RPM.
That's crazy.
Made $2,000 off of a 200K video. Right? No, you're good. You're good. It was 200K views, right? But it was a $10 RPM, so I made $2,500 for the channel. That's literally everything. Like my last 4 months in one video. So
yeah, it's
stupid.
It's crazy. Yeah,
it's stupid.
Definitely, to anybody watching, like Aiden said, compilation content, and also just doubling down what works. I think is something that we've done extremely well on the channel. We're starting to pick up on, because like obviously this is not our main niche. Like obviously Aiden is an entrepreneur, he runs a business, but it's more entertainment-ish. But I'm starting to pick up on like, okay, we can double down on this idea, double down on this one. And I think we've been doing great on that. And to ask the next question, where do you see yourself within the next 6 to 12 months on the channel? Where it could be whatever you want to talk.
Channel-wise, okay. I think if we're looking at full year, I think we'll be at 300K by the end of the year. That's my prediction. Fire. Based off of if TikTok gets banned or not. If TikTok does get banned, I say we'll hit 300K faster, just because shorts will blow up and every short's going to be nuts. If it doesn't get banned, then cool, because that also helps me either way. I'm not worried about it in the slightest.
YouTube's the main driver.
Yeah. YouTube has always been, once I started, well, because you know that I started YouTube in 2023. Yeah. I mean, I made a couple videos in 2021 and 2022, but I really hunkered down in 23. Like I had 2,000 subscribers in 23. So like literally within a year and a half, almost 2 years now, you know, I think my channel birthday is March 19th or something. So I literally, you know, in almost 2 years, I've hit crazy numbers. I mean, obviously I uploaded a couple of long forms, but they weren't great. I mean, I got one of them that monetized me. So everything I was making from then on was great. But, you know, a lot of it is just consistency. A lot of the thing is I want to go bigger with our videos this year. A lot of brands, a lot of ideas that I've been working on behind the scenes. I'm not going to say them in this video, but you know them. A lot of them I've actually pitched to a lot of brands, and a lot of them seem receptive, and a lot of brands talking to them at CES. A lot of them are looking for marketing this year, because last year they spent a lot of money and all their revenue on just producing products for this year. A lot of them were doing like product testing and QA and not have money for marketing. So they were very non-receptive to marketing deals and didn't have as much money in the recession that we had because of that in the market. So now this year, if the tariffs go crazy, then they might be worse on the marketing side. But overall, I see the 6 month of the channel. I think we're going to do like 2 million long form a month. Gotcha. I think if we start getting into the flow of things and our ideas are good, I could see us hitting 2 million long form a month. I could see hitting almost 10K a month in revenue on the channel, like between brand deals and AdSense.
Yeah.
I could see that. But then on the business side of it, I'll have all my new distro and new mouse pads and new quality all done in April. So I'll have everything set up for the recipe for the better year. And that means new products that I can't talk about on the call, but new products, all of our new lines of mouse pads, better quality, all these things that I've been working on throughout the last couple of months are going to come to life in April. Our container gets there. A lot of big stuff happening. You know, we're moving a lot of our stuff around. Shipping will be faster. We'll be able to stock a lot more on Amazon. There's a lot of different things that are going to happen this year that I think is going to be our year, in the sense of like getting our brand awareness out there. There's a lot of other creators that I've met and that are willing to collaborate. Some people are big in our niche, Dantic and other people like that. You know, but yeah, a lot of people.
That's what happens when you grow the brand.
Yeah. And that's the goal, is to build the brand bigger. And then the YouTube channel, just focus on quality, making good videos, man. That's the whole goal. If we can do that, make good videos, impact people, you know, inspire them to build their setup or anything like that, will help us in 2025.
And I didn't even talk about the brand deals a ton, but I know that's bringing you money as well. But,
it's primarily short form, because a lot of brands, like, if you think about it like this, right? Long form is hard to integrate easily. Like, they can do a test run with you on a short form video for like $2,000 or $3,000, and that's a lower investment to them versus putting a 30-second integration that they already know people skip. It's kind of hard for them to justify sponsoring a long form video unless they have a video like I did with Intel before you signed with us. We basically did 4 videos for them over the course of 3 months. So we did one long form, but the long form was showcasing their product throughout it. And those are the type of brand deals that they like more, because like an example, we built a setup with a laptop, right? We've done like 4 of them on our channel. Every single one has 100K long form, and they, you know, provided the laptop and paid us to do it. And, you know, we just did a video where we bought everything. We built a setup that you could do like a budget laptop setup, and every one performed, because laptops are a lot more relatable to people who get them for free or things like that. So building a laptop setup was a good idea, and the format worked over and over and over the course of a year. So those are brand deals that we'll probably see again. Probably see some more laptop ones. We'll probably see some more PC ones. We'll probably see more part specific, like building a PC. Here's like a MSI sent me this, or Asus sent me this, or whatever. We'll probably see a lot of that. And then there's a lot of other bigger brands that we're in the works with. I can't talk about in here, but I'll tell you after the call.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, a lot of them are very interested in the content we're going to be making this year. Exactly. And like I said, a lot of it's going to be like, hey, we have this idea to build this thing. Can you put your products in it? That's more of where the companies are going, especially in our niche, because they want to see people an actual use case and display it to people that want to use it in that use case. And it's hard for other brands to do that, especially if it's just a 30-second ad read, which people charge out the ass for. So a lot of brands, you know, obviously I get it, but like brands don't have infinite money. So you have to kind of ask what their goals are. Are their goals to get 1 million views? Is their goal to get more conversions? If their goals are that conversions, then you want to make more of an impactful video that might get less views, but it will be more impactful to the audience that gets it. If it's someone who just wants 1 million views, then make the most viral shit with their product. And that's what you have to do. It just depends on what the brands want. So
hopefully we definitely get more this year with the content reports.
We will
definitely, for sure.
We will. It was the consistency of views on our channel before. That was what a lot of brands are shy to. But like the last 3 weeks, now the last 3 weeks we've been killing it. So, you know, if we do that for another month, we'll see a lot of brand deals come in. So again, picking good ideas over ones that are less risky, like will be our plan moving forward this year, is less risky type of videos. I mean, maybe once a month we'll try them, but trying those risky ones, if it gets us like 10K views, it's not great for us, because then brands will see that and it's not good for us overall. But overall, we'll pick the best videos we can and try to put our best foot forward. So that's the goal.
I was also curious on what kind of like surprised you about our service, or what misconceptions did you have before like working with us?
I think what surprised me is how many people you put around a team, because, you know, obviously people take money and putting that many people around in a team, you know, it's difficult. I like what you're doing. I think you have a really solid idea, and the way you're doing it is smart. In the future, I might start a business similar to yours, but for local businesses, because a lot of local businesses to me don't understand social media. So it's like things like that, where what you're doing is you're doing it on e-com level with all the finance guys that don't know how to make videos. You're making it for them. But for me, it'd be like local businesses don't know how to make TikToks or Instagram Reels or things to impact their audiences. Well, that's a good way of doing it. And we make UGC for them. But you are doing well in that. And I think that's surprised me that you're super... Oh, I know exactly what I'm going to say. You're really good at taking criticism, even if I'm harsh on you. And I think that's something I love that. I try to surround people like that with me, that I'm very honest with. Like, because again, like honesty gets us to where we want to be. And like beating around the bush and being like, like defending a video that's not worth defending. It's like, you know, it wastes time for us to become better. Right. So I try my best to be very harsh and to the point, because you get to understand like, hey, this is what we need to happen so we can make the success happen. If we keep doing this, this, and this, it's just going to be beating around the bush and we're wasting time and resources. So I like that you're very good at taking constructive criticism like that and applying it to your workflow, because that helps us become more successful together. It helps everyone on your team learn what we need and what we don't need. 100%. And it just makes it faster. You know, it makes it faster to get done with it, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I would definitely say I have tough skin. So I appreciate that. Bro. Yeah. I think another thing that was surprising to me was the revenue growth too. Just like how fast I had confidence, because the one video that we had that went super crazy, which is almost at 1 million views.
It'll pass. It's about to pass the most viewed video on our channel.
Yeah, that video, once we had that, I was like, okay, there's proof of concept here. But like you said, we were still like playing around with the ideas, and then to see everything just kind of like shoot up crazy was just like, that was huge for me.
Yeah, I don't know if Saturday's video is going to be nuts. That Saturday's video, we're going to make sure there's no cussing in the first minute. But yeah, Saturday's video is building my 100,000 subscriber setup, and I think that's going to go nuts. I think that's going to go insane. The storytelling we're doing in it, I can't wait to see it, to show you it. We're getting the rough cut today, so there's a lot of like things that we're working on behind the scenes. It's easier. We're upping infrastructure. That's another thing I wanted to talk about too. On my end, I built a NAS at home so Michael can get footage faster. Google Drive isn't as much as a pain in the ass, because Google Drive, if people, I'm sure editors or someone who's watching this will know, Google Drive is one of the worst ways to do it, and there's not any other better way besides doing it on your own. And so I have an NAS system now. It's got like 8 terabytes, so we're going to be able to easily drop footage. But yeah, so it'll be definitely a lot better for us for long form and being able to get that workflow down, because Google Drive would take Michael like 4 hours to download a video, because it sections videos. If there's longer clips in 4K, it takes forever. It separates them in different files, even though you organize them. It's a pain in the ass. And like, I don't know how else to fix it. The only way I can think about is like making my own damn server, which I did. So it's like, that's the only way I could think about fixing it. So Michael and I are already fixing that, working on that. He's upgrading his internet. So there's a lot of like little infrastructure things we're making this month that are going to affect us for the year. Like, getting the files right now versus 3 hours later waiting for downloads. Like that 3 hours could get a rough cut. You know what I'm saying? So that for us is going to be the change this year. Is a lot of efficiency and upgrading systems.
Yeah. Even us as well. Like, a lot of people don't know this, but we're also implementing like AI into the way we do things, our script writing, ideation, things of that down the line. We're definitely like trying to improve our efficiency as well, kind of level that up. But the last question I have for you is, if someone is on the edge with working with CCM, what would you kind of say to them? Because I know we went through an interesting like working journey, not like this was necessarily bad, but just like ups and downs that happen with growing a channel. So yeah, what would you say to them?
I would say if you have an editor you're already trained, it's great. Because I've actually talked to people about this, about CCM actually. Like, I have a bunch of friends who are in the tech scene and want to be able to work with CCM. Again, they don't really know how to upscale and get teams and stuff. The one thing is that your editors aren't trained for our niche. So, and they can kind of do it, but like the recent video was great. Like whoever edited that, great. But there are some times where the details get lost because they're not. It's finance and
it's more finance focused than
Yeah, exactly. So I would say if you have an editor that you know that can do your style and you bring them to CCM with you, that's a way better experience, because they're helping you ideate, bring, more ideas to you. They're bringing scripts, they're bringing things to make it happen. And the thumbnail people, right? Great. But the editing itself, a lot of creators are more particular on, especially people in our niche, because they have a specific style that they've created that they've only made themselves, and their editing is reason why they go viral. And so if you can't replicate what they make in our niche, it's harder for them to be like, oh, this is why I want to join CCM. Now, if you just did ideation and scripting and thumbnails for them instead of editing, and they edited themselves, hey man, there's a business right there for you. Even if you gave them, 20 ideas a week, it's hard in our niche, I
was gonna ask for like people. What about like people outside of our niche? What would you say to them? Because I know for this niche, it's like very specific for sure. That's why it took us some time to adapt. But what would you say?
If you're in finance, you're great. You're golden. All the editing, is all similar to what you'd see in finance, and all the entrepreneurs that you see, Alex Ramosey's type of editing or those things, you'll see a lot of the same styles in Nate's team, which is great. It just depends on what niche you're in, it's kind of hard to do it in gaming. I think gaming would probably be easier because of how ADHD your editors are. They're all over the place, and they got a bunch of, motion graphics and stuff. So that's good for gaming. Maybe not streamers, because there's a lot more detail with that. But I don't know. I mean, it depends on the niche and what you're looking for. I think Nate can give you ideas and scripting for any niche, but editing is a little harder. So maybe if they're doing a service where you provide ideas and someone to bounce stuff off of, you know, if there's a service like that, then I think that would be more beneficial for people, especially in the script writing and the ideation and the thumbnails, like, you know, coming up with that is also a really good thing. If you don't have, like, say you really want to edit your own stuff, and you have Nate come in, script, give you video ideas, plan it, you know, you edit it, you give it to them, they do their retention editing, whatever. That's all things Nate can most likely do. So those are things that are better. Those are things that are better. Even if it's like 2 videos a week, you know, you want to make 2 of yours and then they want to make 2 of theirs. Those are things that you can do also, I would assume, you know, that. So it just depends on what your goals are. And I'm sure Nate would talk you through it, but other niches are a little harder to train these editors. So just be wary of, like, if you're working with them, think about your editing. And if it's difficult and hard to remake, then try to find someone, hire them, and then teach them everything you know, and then bring them to Nate. Because then you have someone who already knows everything about your niche, knows everything about what you want editing wise, and you can convene with them straight up. But if you're in the finance niche, you're fine. Like, you're good. You're good.
Appreciate you. And with that, do you have like any final thoughts or just a final message to say to the viewers? I appreciate you hopping on for sure, Brian.
Yeah, I would say the biggest thing to anybody watching, if you want to become successful, the biggest way is just consistency and believing in your vision. Whatever vision you have, just sit down and plan it out and find people that will actually help you achieve that. Don't take advice from people that aren't in your position or want to be, you know, if they're not in where you want to be, don't take advice from them. And it's very hard to be in that position. I mean, a lot of it, you know, no one taught me how to be a milesped company, but I did it. No one taught you how to run CCM. You did it. It's kind of one of those things where, like, you know, you can have mentors, you can have people that are in your life that give you advice, but you don't want to take anything from anyone that's not above you or in that niche or what they do, right? I mean, I had a couple of mentors in the beginning, which is like my dad, and, you know, like TechSource gave me some advice in the beginning in our niche, but a lot of it is just like figuring out what you like most, adapting and becoming unique. If, you know, if there's 100 taco shops, you don't want to be the 101th taco shop. You want to be like the first burger joint on the block. You have a lot more business than all of them. So it's like, you know, for me, that's kind of what I'm bringing to tech is like everyone's done tech the same damn way for like years. Like we've seen it, like Linus's, the Random Fake Peas, we've seen the tech sources. They all do the same damn shit. And they've been doing it the same way for 6 years. And there hasn't been anyone to come in and really make it about the viewer or about the personality or the, like, anything. Yeah, it's okay to have MKBHDs and Linus's of the world because they're great. They're great reviewers. But there's a point where a tech needs a middle of the road guy that just like likes shit that works. Doesn't go too deep on everything. Doesn't be a nerd about shit. It's like, hey, we just want someone who's in the middle of the road that likes aesthetics, that likes things that they do and has good products that they use. Like they use daily. They recommend it to people. That's the shit that they want to see. And because people don't really care to go through all this detail and research and all this stuff, it's like, dude, we want middle of the road people that like it. And obviously there's going to be a little more detailed videos that do better, but a majority of it is like, what's the easiest way to do something? And I think that's what our channel provides, because I want to plant the seeds, but I don't want to give them everything. I don't want to grow the whole damn tree. I just want to plant the seeds everywhere and let people kind of learn their own knowledge or learn things for their setup and build it that way, because I'm not the end all be all, and neither is any of the tech YouTubers, but you know, that's kind of what it is.
And I appreciate you hopping on once again.
Of course.
I definitely think we're going to continue to grow and scale the channel to the goals that we mentioned. With what we talked about, idea-wise, brand deal-wise, just everything that we have going into this new year, I think we're definitely going to scale and just continue working together and crushing it. So, yeah, I'm super excited. I appreciate you hopping on, bro.
Of course.
And, yeah, I believe that's it for the interview.
All right, cool. Thank you so much.
Appreciate you, bro.